Hello everyone, I'm Eric from Sports 365. Here with me once again is my colleague Alex. So, Arsenal traveled to the London Stadium to play West Ham. Fortunately, they wasted another 2-goal lead and ended up being a 2-2 draw. It's a really frustrating result against a team that's in a relegation battle. So, it's another 2 points dropped, and definitely a game Arsenal should have won. So before we dive deeper, what are your initial thoughts on this?
I'm very disappointed that we went up 2-0 again and only came away with a draw again. I mean, that really wouldn't be acceptable like ever, but especially when we're trying to win the Premiership title. That's the exact kind of thing that we can't do. We can't, drop points when we essentially have a game won. So, totally unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, this is a worse draw than the one against Liverpool, because that one was frustrating, but Liverpool is always a tough game, and it's always hard to win there, even if Liverpool have underperformed this season. But, I mean, away against West Ham, this game we won last season, should have won it again this season. Unacceptable to be dropping points in a game like that against a team in the relegation zone. So, yeah, really frustrating. Yeah. There were some positives from the game. Jesus scored again. It's time after only 7 minutes. Odegaard scored in the 10th minute as well. So both of them continue to play well, and it's definitely good to see Jesus continuing to score goals. Because his performance will definitely be big for Arsenal, and scoring more means that his confidence will be better, which leads him scoring more, and so on and so forth. So it's definitely good to see the two of them continue to play well and remain confident in front of goal. What do you think of Odegaard and Jesus in this game?
Yeah, they both continue to play well. It's good to see. Of course, Odegaard's been one of our best players throughout this season, if not just our best player. And, it's especially good to see Jesus come back from a very long injury and just immediately start scoring goals again. Because a lot of times, especially with strikers, if they're out for a while, it takes them a while to get back up to speed, but that doesn't really seem to be the case with Gabriel Jesus, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, Odegaard is definitely a contender for Arsenal's player of the season this season. And yeah, Jesus looked really good since coming back. I mean, he even had a good performance against Fulham, even though he only played about 15 minutes and didn't score in that game, but still looked sharp in that game. Yeah, definitely good to see both of them continue to play well, and they'll need to keep doing so for Arsenal to continue their title charge. So Martinelli also continues to play well. He got the assist for Odegaard's goal in this game, and I think Martinelli has responded really well to being dropped a little earlier in the season, because he kind of fallen off in terms of performance a little bit after the World Cup, but since coming back inside has been pretty much unstoppable. So it's really good to see him continue his fine form. So your thoughts on Martinelli in this game?
Yeah, I mean, he played well in this game. He's played well most of the entire season. As you said, his form dipped a little bit after the World Cup, but he responded very well to being dropped. He's been good in previous seasons, but I would say this has really been his breakout season. I've been very happy to see him play as well as he has, because I felt, from the time he first made his Arsenal debut, that he certainly had capability to play this well. And of course, he's still young, so he's still going to get better.
Yeah, it's great to see Martinelli playing this well, and yeah, I agree. I think this is definitely a breakout season for him. Even though he's still so young, is to continue to get even better. Yeah, he's really been a nuisance for opposing defenses in recent weeks. Really just seemed unstoppable. It seems like no matter the result, he gets a goal or assist in like every single game lately. So hopefully he stays fit for the rest of the season and continues playing at the level, because Arsenal certainly need him to do exactly that. Now, in terms of the defense, overall, certainly lacking, but two players that did stand out from Arsenal's defense were Gabriel Magalhaes and Ben White. Both of them played well, defended well, and Ben White even got the assist for Gabriel Jesus' goal, so another assist for him, and I think both of them played well in Arsenal's defending in this game. Overall was really not good enough, especially in the second half. What do you think of Ben White and Gabriel Magalhaes in this game?
Yeah, they were both good. Ben White responded well, after not having his best performance in the previous match. He's caught out of position a couple times, but it's overall Arsenal defensively was not great, so it's kind of hard to overlook, even though we're talking about two defenders that did play fairly well. I thought both of them had good games. Both of them been very consistent. Of course, both of them have had a few bad games. But overall, I think they've been Arsenal's two most consistent defenders. Of course, Saliba was overall very good for a while before his unfortunate injury. But yeah, I think they did play well, even though Arsenal's defense overall in this game is not the greatest. So speaking of that, Arsenal's defending wasn't good enough in this game. That was one of the major negatives, and that was a big part of the reason why Arsenal weren't able to get all 3 points. Seemed like they kind of coasted a little bit after going up 2-0, which is certainly not something you could do in a Premier League game, especially when you're playing away from home. I thought Holding was poor again. Didn't play well against Liverpool, didn't play well against West Ham. And it's definitely a concern, especially considering that Saliba is still out due to injury right now. So Arsenal really needs Holding to play better than he has in the past couple of games. So what do you think of the defending overall, and also Holding more specifically? Overall, wasn't good enough, and Holding individually wasn't good enough either. He didn't play well in either this match or the match against Liverpool, but overall he's just frankly not really a good enough player. If you compare like Holding as our backup center back to like Manchester City's backup center backs, it's easy to see why they've been so dominant in recent years. It's difficult to compete with a team that has unlimited money and can have world-class, not just starters, but backups at every position. But anyway, yeah, Holding wasn't great in this match.
I think overall, I don't want to put all of the blame on Holding. Overall, defending wasn't good enough. And as you said, I think Arsenal definitely need to find a better backup right center back to provide cover for Saliba and Holding in the summer. It's definitely going to be one of Arsenal's priorities. Because, like I said, Holding has definitely contributed to Arsenal dropping points in the last 2 matches. Unfortunately, like I said, Arsenal really need him to step up and play better, because Saliba's not available right now. So yeah, definitely frustrating, and hopefully Saliba either comes back soon or Holding starts to play better, or a bit of both, I suppose. But yeah, definitely frustrating. So another negative from this is that Saka didn't play particularly well. Didn't look as dangerous as he normally does, and missed a penalty, and that certainly proved costly, especially since it was the score was 2-1 Arsenal at that point, and if Arsenal got 3-1, then might have ended up winning this game. He's had a really good season, but he has struggled a bit in the past couple of games. What do you think of Saka against West Ham?
Yeah, I mean, considering his quality and how well he's played, the vast majority of the games this season was a bit disappointing. Of course, the penalty miss was disappointing as well. I mean, that's not like that's the sole reason that we did not win this match, but it was definitely a factor. So when you see such a young player, even though he's been an Arsenal regular for years, starting to struggle, at this point when we're trying to win a title, you kind of wonder, are they struggling because they've never been under this much pressure before, and it's not exactly an easy situation for a young player. So hopefully Saka can start playing better.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if it was the pressure. I think Saka's performed well under pressure multiple times. I think going back to that penalty that he scored against Liverpool in that 3-2 win, that was a massive amount of pressure, and I think that win really established that Arsenal were actually challenging for the title this season. When I started to believe it, at least. Might just be a bit of burnout. I mean, he might just need to rest against Southampton so he can be at 100% and hopefully play much better against Manchester City, which is obviously a massive game for the season. So yeah, definitely disappointing for him, but hopefully he can play better for the remainder of the season. So there you have it. Another 2 points dropped and another disappointing draw. Arsenal 4 points clear of Manchester City at this point, and play Southampton at home next. Certainly a must-win game for Arsenal, so if Arsenal pick up all 3 points and go into that Manchester City game with some more positive momentum.
Yeah.